Hi. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Alien, the starter set. Alien, the uh, the evolved edition. So this is an evolution from this. So I'm going to be doing a number of parts. I don't know if you're watching this first or if you're watching this last or in the middle, but I am going to be reviewing uh, the starter set, and I'm going to be reviewing the core the core book along with the screen, and I'm also going to have another video where I'm looking at Raptor Protocol, the minis, as well as just the contents, so that there's no spoilers of what's there. Especially for a GM, this is important. So this is the kind of basic box that Free League wants you to buy and have, and it is a very good value in my estimation. I must say that I did receive review copies from Free League, and that I do know Dave and Matt, who both have written for Alien. But that has not influenced me in my assessment. You'll notice before I received anything, I did put up a video, a beta of look through and an actual creation of life paths with some friends of mine who are all GMs, all very involved, and two of which are definitely involved in the convention community. And so we went through that in a video on my channel, and then we played. We played the game or the adventure that's in the core book itself. So with that said, let's look at it. I'm going to say that I got rid of my old Alien core book, but I did keep the starter set. I kept it because I thought that the starter set was of good value. I have the cards still. I bought multiple dice. I think I have 4 sets of dice. The dice are exactly the same in both. So here we have the unpunched counters that you can use, and very generic, very same color, and kind of hard to read if you're looking at it from the side. Especially your characters who are marked down A, B, C, D, E. So that is that kind of was not great, I thought, when I first got the product. Inside of this older version, you have lengthway character sheets, and you have all the information here. They're glossy paper, kind of flimsy, but utilitarian. Landscape versus portrait is a personal choice. Currently, I'm playing with the landscape version of Vaesen, and I find that it works quite well because of the layout. I'm not sure if I'm too keen on this layout in the older version. You have the rule book. It is 90 some odd pages, but you get a lot in it. And so it's about 104 pages, and you get a lot. But the problem is there's a lot of blank space, a lot of blank space. It's black ink, and what they've done is in the Evolved edition, they've gotten rid of all the fluff and imagery and put it in different locations And so you're not getting less. You're getting it more concise and definitely easily readable. The reason why I got rid of my core book was because I couldn't read it. It was a difficult read. The PDF was okay because I could, I could make it big, but I wasn't too keen on the black. So a major improvement in the new edition is the layout. You got Chariot of the Gods, written by Andrew Gasca, and it's a fine it's a fine adventure. It has lots of excellent drawings and schematics of ships, and here a very excellent quality poster size drawing of inside, and you get the color map of the system. If you prefer the color map of the system, the OG starter set is really good for you. If you have it, keep it. I think that there's a number of assets in it that are worthwhile, obviously the dice and stuff, but if you're looking at the old stuff, just remember that when it's on sale, and if you see it like dirt cheap, buy it just for the dice, and maybe the color map and maybe the schematics of the ships. That's kind of a perk. I think that the rationale behind the starter set here was to make it much more accessible and easier. Now, we know that ink costs money, so we know that producing this would have cost more money because of the quality of the paper and the ink for all of these beautiful images. But it comes at a cost. I think that we've got more in this than we do in that, and that's an honest assessment. This is the starter set, and it has Hope's Last Day inside the starter set, not at the back of the core book. And so that makes a difference. You have your dice, same dice as always, which is great. The cards, I don't know. I like the initiative cards. They're very big numbers, very clear on the table. You know when somebody's gone, you know what happens, you can rotate, but it's very clear. The numbers are very, very clear, which is not always the case with some Free League initiative cards. So I like this. I like the font size. The font itself is very evocative. It's a matte. It's almost a matte type of finish. It's an excellent quality, but if I'm shuffling these cards, I found that they're a little sticky. I mean, that's a minor complaint, but shuffling these is not as easy. With the other deck, it was much easier to shuffle. I don't know if I were Free League, if I would go back and do this matte again. It's great for cards that have, your stress response and throwing that out there so that somebody has a panic response in front of them so that you remember that you have the shakes or whatever. The personal agenda cards, again, they don't need to be shuffled that much, and so everybody has 3. It's quite good, and those are the 3 for the acts, right? You got Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So these cards give you story points, and that gives you a benefit, gives you a success at certain points in the game when you need to use those successes. I think that the cards for the guns and the weapons are much clearer in this version. I like the way that they're just very, very simple. They've kept this new design where you've got the green kind of graphic type paper on the back, and it's just a very nice touch. So I'm very happy with The cards as cards, the quality is excellent, but I don't think that it's conducive for shuffling for the initiative cards. Minor kind of disagreement. Nothing major. So, you get a mini. Minis are something that's optional, but it certainly is part of this game. It's certainly something that they want you to invest in. If you're cynical and you're saying, "Oh, this is just a money grab" or something like that, I don't think we should be that cynical, because when we look at other products that are out there now, I remember watching Batman 66 on the TV, and I had a Batmobile by Dinky Toys in England. I had James Bond, the Dinky car, the Aston Martin. I've had Space 1999 characters and stuff, the Big Eagle that was there. So if you enjoy a franchise, and you really enjoy the franchise, getting minis is kind of fun. Is it board gamey? You could argue that it is a bit board gamey, but back in the day, Raul Partha had tons of lead minis that many of us bought back in the day when we were younger, and enjoyed the fact that we had a hex grid and that we had erasable markers and that we enjoyed the miniature aspect. To just dismiss the minis simply because you are perceiving Free League as doing something that's underhanded is absolutely ridiculous, because it has been part of our world, our gaming world, for a long time. And I don't think that we should be saying, "Oh, well, now we're just Wizards of the Coast," or we're just, emulating, 3.5 or third edition, or whatever you want to call it. I think that this is an option for people. I think that it's a very good option. I like this. It's an incentive for you to say, "Hey, I've got this alien miniature. You know what? It's not going to be that difficult for me to save up and get the miniatures from Raptor Protocol." So I like the addition of this, and I think that it's a nice bonus to get inside the starter set. You have the little catalog. Okay, so this is half the size. The images are much larger. You have the images of the characters themselves. When you have the characters in front of you and the character sheets, you easily identifiable. Before they were not. This is an improvement for sure. You have ships for ship-to-ship combat. Does that enter into the Alien universe? No, but you have that option to have that if you've got players who want that. So you've got a dial to make sure that you're keeping up with supply. Excellent little thing. You've got your little doohickeys to put it together. I haven't done so yet. And then you have, I've got to, I have to check my watch, but I don't know. So you've got just kind of getting started. It shows what you have. I think these are all the backers. So for all the backers, you can find your name on this and show it to all your friends. Yay, hurrah. I don't know why companies do this. Everybody seems to want to throw the names of people in who've backed it. I don't think that that's an incentive. I think the incentive is you like the product, you want to buy the product, and you want to kickstart it because you want it before anybody else, hopefully. The rules are much smaller, like denser. So you've only got 25 pages as opposed to almost 100. But it's a lean and concise, and you have these wonderful charts that help you understand fully if then. And in the combat rules, you will see that there are large lines underneath, and the reason is that is a dead stop. There's nothing more in that line, which is just a subtle touch. But I find that this is so easily readable. The font is fantastic. It's a good size. It's very clearly laid out, and it's perfectly reasonable. You do not have tons of artwork in here, but you've got the smatterings to get you started. That's what a starter box is for. Again, really good quality paper. You've got excellent diagrams for the GM as well as for the players. They are full so that you can put them out on the table. And the only thing, which is, I think it's a matter of personal preference, but the map of the universe is the green. I personally find it easier to read than the color one. So maybe that's why they went for the green. But I just prefer this. Though I think that if you like the color, the other one is fine. The pages are portrait, easy. At first I didn't like the art, but it's kind of grown on me. I like the fuzziness of it. It gives a bit more mystery to the characters. I really like that. I've grown to love it. You get Hadley's Hope, and you get a little bit. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But you get a nice kind of diagram. You get 5 rules references. They don't have the combat rules references, but they have the ones that you need the majority of the time for role-playing itself. And so you've got your panic response, your stress response, stealth sequences, you've got panic roll, and you've got skills and the full actions, the quick actions, full actions. And you've got 5 of these. So all in all, I think that this is definitely worth it. You've got Hope's Last Day, and I will talk about that in a second. Okay, so I'm back to talk about Hadley's Hope, or Hope's Last Day. Now, I had to have a little think about this and kind of help explain my impression. The first is, I haven't played it. I intend on running it. And so I've read a bit. I know the denouement. And so I'm aware of kind of the elements of how it's progressed. I vaguely remember taking a look at it in the core book. And in the core book, there is a change to the ending, a subtle change to the ending that you kind of have to look at, but enough to make it substantial enough to give an extra little je ne sais quoi, a little bit of extra something to the ending to make it in some ways more engaging and in other ways less complex or unnecessarily complex. So I don't want to give anything away. I want to talk about just a few things because I don't want this to go on forever. And so I guess what I'm going to do is, first off, I want to show you the difference between these. Okay, so I didn't have the initiative cards because I like the initiative cards, or I liked the initiative cards so much that I put them into a Coriolis set for some reason for playing with some kids that I play with. And because I do an after-school program, if you didn't know. And so I've been using these. So these are the initiative cards in the previous iteration, in the first edition. And these are the cards in the new evolved edition. And I think that's definitely an evolution. Do I like these cards? I find shuffling them a pain in the ass. Okay, let's just put the criticism out right away. I really hope that Freely considers this type of, it's excellent paper, but it shuffles in a very effed up way. So that's my criticism of this. And these are just smooth as silk, you know, a great card quality. They've got linen finish instead of a matte finish. A matte linen, of course. But I think that those are better in terms of how they come across. So you have to lay them out like magic cards, 1, 2, 3, and then max them all together. Yeah, you know, you don't have to do the shuffly. And they're only 10 cards, come on. All right, so that's that spiel over with. So in the first edition, you got Chariot of the Gods. I have played through that. There is a video of that, of us playing through it. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Again, I think that the way that it's put out is just a bit of a pain in the backside. Yeah, it's just a bit of a pain in the backside. It is different. It's a different starter set. So you're getting Hope's Last Day instead of in the back of the core book. You're getting Hope's Last Day here in the starter set. And I think that that is a very nice consideration on Free League's part, that they didn't just reskin Chariot of the Gods, that they gave Hope's Last Day, which in some ways feels a bit more, to me, it feels a bit more alien and franchise to me than did Chariot of the Gods. It's personal opinion, but that's my thought. So I'm going to throw that over there. Again, Hope's Last Day is really well put out. It's got the same font, of course, and you've got the internals. So I showed you before that you've got where everything is, and you have a large map for the miniatures. And you saw before that I showed that you've got half, if not a third, of the amount of tokens. Now, in some way, the cards have taken over the place of the tokens, and they've taken away a number of the alien tokens from the first edition in the starter set. And that, I'm sure, is to encourage you to get the miniatures. Let's be honest. They have a business model, and that's the business model, and it makes sense. So I'm going to show you something. I do have a complaint, but I do think that the quality of the production, okay? If you're looking at it in terms of, I want to buy it maybe just for the alien miniature, or maybe I want to buy another set of dice and I want to have the alien miniature because I've got my own, I don't know, Warhammer, miniatures that I'm using. Hey, whatever. I want to get it just for that. But I think that the value of the production, the paper, the concise nature of the way that it's been tweaked, because it has been tweaked. And so I'm going to show you this, and you're going to say, what the fuck? All right, so Drak Borgen. Why? What are you doing? All right, Drak Borgen. Drak Borgen is excellent for Dragonbane. it's an independent publisher, and it's really good. And it's by Per Holstrom. And it's been published by Fandrake and Gott Kral and Alga, and it was released last year. Now, one of the cool things is it has a bunch of maps inside of it. And I have blown them up on 11 by 17. And I did this over at a printing shop because my printer doesn't handle this size. Because the players that I play with appreciate having a map that they can have in front of them, that they can look at, and they can say, okay, where are we going to go next? Oh, I can visualize this. This is indeed different from a narrative game. All right? Now, can Alien be narrative? I think that it can. I think that Hope's Last Day can indeed be narrative. So, no, you're not obliged to buy the miniatures. You are encouraged to consider buying the miniatures. If you have a criticism of the Kickstarter and you've bought the Kickstarter and you're looking at Hope's Last Day and you're saying, well, frig, what's new? There are things that are new in there. Is it an epic tome? No, it's not an epic tome. This is supposed to be a starter set. Don't expect the campaign book. If you want a campaign book, you're looking at something about the size of Path of Glory, and it's got tons of write-up and tons of stuff. So this is what you're looking at if you want something that's expanded. That's not what anybody sells in a starter set. Okay? You don't have that level of campaign. This is supposed to be, let's get your feet wet. Do you want to buy this core book and possibly other books that have come out, or buy Rapture Protocol? Do you want to invest more? It's not saying you need to invest in everything in the Kickstarter right away. But it is on us to decide. So I believe that we get proper quality, and it's a fine adventure. So in this book, and I showed you before, that you get a handout that shows you the sectors of Hadley's Hope. So you've got A, B, D, C, and E. All right, so you have the different quarters and the different areas that are there. And so you've got the West Gate, South Gate, North Gate, East Gate, and then you've got the landing platform off to the side, which there you go. You're concentrated in a specific area for a reason. Are you being railroaded? Not really, but you could make an argument for it. But as a GM, you don't want to just have a nonsensical conflict after conflict after conflict after conflict. It just doesn't make sense. So going into the different areas is not really helpful if there's an adventure that's written for a certain area. And you may disagree, and that's fine. And I do have a disagreement. If your party wants to go and investigate the other areas, and I don't have the core book, as I said, so I've got it on PDF. So in the other areas, and let me see if I can blow this up on my pad. Okay, you had the kind of blocks, and you had entrances and stuff like that. Okay, so it was more defined. You had the internals defined, and for the GM, you had even more kind of information that had the icons and informed you of the various areas in blocks that are not specific to the adventure. So this, the new one, doesn't give that level of detail for the other sector. So you don't have the other kind of room options in the other sector. And I think that that could have been avoided. I think that Free League probably, I think they should have included that aspect, even just to give the same options of, if you want to go nuts and you want to go all over the place, go for it. But the primary adventure is in a specific sector. And there are reasons behind that, and they come across. Before I said that you shuffle the kind of act cards, and of course you don't. It's 1, 2, and 3. So there is a story unraveling. And that's what you're buying into with the Alien, with this Alien book, is that you have acts and you have story points that you want to gain, but you also have levels that you want to attain for your character. This is not a wide open, oh, you've made your own character, you make your own way in the world. You are playing a character because it's a starter set. So to be critical of that aspect, I think, is asking too much of Free League, considering everything else that they've thrown in there. They've thrown in a mini. Did you ask for it? No, but you got it, and it's excited a lot of people. You have 5 cards that give the players, and they've been doing this increasingly, and I think that this is absolutely fantastic, so that the player has a card right there. Now, a lot of con players and GMs, so at conventions, you bring this out, you throw out the cards, you give out the characters, and boom, you've got explanations that the GM doesn't have to give. It's right there in front of you. If you played a Year Zero engine game, you already are in advance of knowing more or less how things are going to go. So I think that this is good. Cards, no cards. In this type of game, I think that having the cards for weapons and stuff like that just make it more accessible to enter into the world. So that's my biggest criticism, is that they didn't give you the extra little specifics. Not necessarily needing to define those specifics, but saying, okay, well, these are the offices, and the GM can look at the areas and say, oh, this is where they're going. How are they going to make it back? Stuff like that. But other than that, I think that it's fine. I like the fact that they've been considerate and they put it into the starter as opposed to putting it into the core. So the next step is looking at Raptor Protocol or the core. Before I do that, I am going to give you a Facebook quote in response to criticism of this Hope's Last Day. And this is Thomas Harenstam, and he is the lead designer, and he also is kind of, in many ways, the face of Free League. He says, hi, lead designer here. So this is to a Facebook group of both the first edition and Evolved edition. So he's both the lead designer. I have to say, reading all this negativity here is really disheartening. The Evolved edition is certainly not a cash grab. It's the evolution of what we as game designers have learned from 6 years working with the first edition of the game. Now remember, there's an extra year on there because they've been working on it. Okay? If you don't like this or that new rule or visual redesign, fine. You have the right to your opinion. But there is nothing nefarious going on here. We have worked very hard to make the Evolved Edition the ultimate version of the Alien RPG as we see it. Not just revising the rules, but including additional setting material, expanded campaign tools, life path character generation, oh, we will talk about that, solo rules, and more. Honestly, if you don't watch any more of my videos, those are the selling points to buy the new thing. Solo rules, you may say, I'm never going to be solo player. Yeah, but those solo rules contain so many good tables for you as a GM to work with for building better worlds if you have that product, and you should if you bought into this franchise in this game. Come on, like the solo rules are massive. Life path systems, Traveler's the granddaddy, amazing. This is great. The life path system in this is fantastic, and I'll speak about that more when I get to the rules itself. So he continues, as for Hope's Last Day in the new starter set, the Kickstarter page stated it would be an expanded version of the adventure, not extended as in a larger adventure. And the adventure certainly is expanded, adding new detailed maps and location descriptions, new NPCs, new art, more personal agendas, and new events. And this is all true. Point to the game, okay, so the purpose of the starter set, of all starter sets, is to be the best possible entry point to the game for a new player. This we all know. If you're watching this, you are a role player and you are aware. And we think the new starter set is absolutely that. Which also, while also including plenty of useful tools and resources for seasoned players as well. So that's Free League's statement to the criticisms. I wish that our discourse could be, I guess, more helpful for people like Thomas and people like Per, people like Andreas, or others who are creating. To say this is crap and that is crap and I hate this and I hate that. That's great. That's your own personal opinion. It is more beneficial to somebody who's a creator to say, while you chose to do it this way, have you considered to do it this way? Because I find this to be annoying. Oh, Siri, I hate your guts. All right, so the initiative cards are a really good example. The initiative cards are better, are more conducive to shuffling in the first edition. What I have said repeatedly is the card quality is great in this new edition, but it's matte, it's a little sticky. It will kind of unstick as you go on and as your fingers get all over it. But I would prefer if Free League would reconsider this in the future. Is it a fault? Is it a detriment to such an extent that it ruins the experience? No. You just work around it. It's getting a miniature. If you don't use miniatures ever, you've got a free miniature, relatively. It's great. And you've got the dice. And for the cost of the dice and the miniature and those cards alone, you're getting a lot of benefit. Having a tracker, it's a nice little thing. You could use dice, but it's a nice little thing. So I think that, it's the way that we've started to criticize that is so kind of knife in the back. Maybe we've taken our role-playing into our criticism of various gaming companies because we all want to be rogue assassins or hack and slash murder hobos. I think that we're an intellectual community who buy games that are different from the commonalities that are out there, the big the big names. I think Free League is getting there, but if you're following Free League and you're buying Free League products, obviously you have a sense of the company and what they've been doing. Um, you may have been challenged by Coriolis the Great Dark and the design differences, but let's be honest. They are trying new things and they are getting feedback, and they are working on evolving Alien First Edition to Alien Evolved. They have not called it Alien Second Edition. They've called it Alien Evolved. And this is great. I'm personally hoping that they get the rights to be able to put out some Alien Earth products in the future. I think that there's a lot of room to grow with this game. But let's be a little sensitive with our criticism. One of the things, and I'll leave on this, one of the things that I didn't mention in my kind of overview of Hope's Last Day is that one change, which I think is actually really amazing, is that you don't have a 2d6 table that you're rolling on to get random gear. Some of that random gear is ridiculous and stupid. Now, that's about as blunt as I can get. Nobody is going to be happy with some of those rolls that you get. Well, that's fate. Well, yeah. In the Evolved Edition, much more intentional, much more thoughtful. D6, 6 options, all of them useful, good, and appropriate to the setting. The expanded maps that you have that you can put on the table and people can visualize. You can block off with black card the various rooms and stuff. Look, anything that's going to get people more engaged at your table is going to be great. If your players state at the beginning of the game, hey, I want this to be a narrative game, you can work with that. But if you're going to a con and you're expecting at a convention to have a narrative style Alien Evolved game, you are probably not going to get that because you have all of these benefits, visual aids to help you through it. And given the nature of the Alien franchise, it is more conducive to miniature play in the same way that D&D is in many ways conducive to miniature play, as is Pathfinder and others. I just think that that should be the least of our criticisms. So I'm happy with this. I'm actually really happy with this because I can read it. It's very easy to find sections. It's very easy to find the flowcharts. And in the core rule assessment, I'm going to add in the game mother screen, because I think that the game mother screen is something that needs to be talked about. Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you enjoyed this review. There will be another one that's just silent, showing kind of the products as they are without any commentary. Take care.